Welcome to What If You Can with Nurai. This week topic is how I learned to be patient, and then before that it was so hard to be patient, how I wanted to just be a butterfly and fly immediately, or just like, you know, get everything immediately. Like, I don't know why, but I always thought if I want something, it will happen immediately. For example, like 2018, I started my YouTube channel, but then I was like, oh, it's no one is watching it and I'm not going to make it. So I started for a month and then I stopped it. And so many other things. When I first moved to US 2018, I was like, I want to learn English. I just want to learn immediately without even making a scientific logic. Growing up, like my family, they were farmers, didn't know how to read or write. And I guess for them, they didn't have that much scientist background or educational science. Mostly they were just so connected to nature and they were kind of believing on the magic and assuming, and they wouldn't write anything down and they would keep everything in their mind. For example, yield of the crop, like the harvest time, like they didn't even use pen and paper, and also back then they didn't have access to the phone. I think, like, I don't know, like, I just think sometimes because of my background, I just didn't learn that much science. Yes, I went to school, but being a first generation can be hard. I think for me, especially, I was just all interested in plants, and science will take a while for me to understand because it just didn't make sense to me. But I would enjoy the science projects. It was interesting for me to learn. It just back then, like we didn't have that much. I didn't have good, I guess, teachers, I would say. And the books that I was learning science, they were hard, especially they were in in a language that I learned later, like it wasn't my native language, Kurdish. It was Turkish because my first language was Kurdish, and then I had to learn Turkish when I was 7 years old when I first started school. So it just was hard to learn those terms, I think I would say. And I mean, so that made it so difficult. I just, growing up, I just never thought patient actually related to the science. Like in my experience, for example, as I said, like when I moved to US 2018, I didn't know that much English. I just wanted to be fluent immediately, but the reality is I couldn't think of like, oh, like people goes to their whole life, or the basic thing is like the babies, for example. For babies, like they need 9 months and then they need to learn the language later, and it take them like 3 years or 2 years to learn the language. Like for me, I didn't know how to use the time. I was just like timeless and then will just assume everything. The same thing, like when I start creating content on YouTube, I didn't know about algorithm. I didn't know about consistency. I didn't know about tools. Like, let's say if I learned about those later, I just assume I can do everything in one day. So I just wanted, like, I remember I published my first YouTube video in Turkish, and then immediately, like, I got 174 followers. That was actually a good start, but I was comparing myself with already famous, like, successful digital creators, and then that demotivated me because I didn't think of scientifically or have to use the time, be like, hey, I need time to learn the tools. I need time to make editing. And those things takes time. And then I mean, as I said, like it was just weird my 20s and before 20s. I am 30 now. I I feel like maybe might be behind of many students, many people that they actually learned those things when they are 15 or 13. Now I'm learning in my 30s that time, science, and patience, they all work together. And so I just wanted to share that because I am just curious that if any other people actually had similar situation in any era of their age. Like for me at 30 still I am learning more how to use science with the patient. Like, for example, in the podcast. Now I know that I have to be consistent. I have to create a good content. I need to learn how to edit. I need to learn how to like use the best sound headphone or like scheduling with the guests eventually. Like all of those things definitely is going to take my at least 3 hours per week. Even creating this video takes my 15 minutes, but I have to do all of those things. So what I realized is nothing is easy, especially in the beginning. If you're learning by yourself, it is difficult, but I think being curious, being creative, consistency, and keep going helps to learn anything. I didn't know that until now. I am actually happy that I realized that patience and science work together, and I have to like make things in a small pieces. Like I think I would say my whole life I have been seeing only the big picture. Like what I mean by big picture is like only the now or and future, not what is behind the past. For example, as I said, when I was looking at successful influencers on YouTube, I actually never looked their past. Like even if I looked it, I didn't understand that it took time for them to get here. And if I do that, I can do it too. Like I've been following someone for 10 years. And then that person started when she was 14 years old, creating YouTube videos. And now like, now she has like probably a million followers because she has been keep doing that. Like if I started 2018, now it's 2026. If I kept going, I'm sure now I was one of the, I mean, uh, maybe, maybe influencer, I should say. I guess I could say I am sure I will be one of the influencer on YouTube because I started with random video, not that good, and I already got 174 followers. But because I just stopped doing it and then I lost my followers. But that doesn't mean uh you can start again. Like, yes, I lost those years, but now I have more motivation, more ideas, and then also I have more knowledge. Yes, it will be way harder than back then. Now it's more competitive, but at least I'm happy that now I'm aware that things takes time. And then do market research. I have to like uh so do so many other things. Why I shared this, I wanted to share this in case you are also being impatient. You should just take a moment to take a deep breath. Like when they say believe in yourself, if you're good at something, just be patient. Patience comes with time and consistency. Keep doing it. I hope this podcast will inspire you to be okay with the past, that you stopped something that you were passionate like me, creating contents, and then now you can start it. Thank you for listening.